Alright, so if you're new here, first of all, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And second of all, I love Boise State. And I'm going to try my best not to let that bias influence what I say in this video about Boise State. But I do love that team dearly. And in fact, that's Boise State right there on the wall. That's by no coincidence that that picture is there. I love to have that Boise State history behind me. Yes, today we're talking about G5 football. And I know a lot of mainstream media shows don't talk about G5 football, but we do here on The Era. We love the G5, and that's what makes us special here at The Era. Another reason why you should subscribe. But nonetheless, let's get into Boise State. If you didn't catch my first ever live stream the other day, you can catch it right up here. I gave my official college football playoff bracket, and the 12 seed on that bracket was, of course, the best, highest ranked G5 team, which happened to be the Boise State Broncos. And I wanted to go into a little bit more depth as to why I think Boise State is the best G5 team in the nation going into this year. Boise State last year reminded me a lot of three Power 4 teams: Oklahoma State, Alabama, and Arizona. And the way that they got incrementally better every week. The beginning of the year was kind of a train wreck for the Broncos in 2023. They didn't really have an identity. They'd have some thrilling wins, then some deflating losses, and they were just trying to put the pieces together. But as the season went on, these Broncos gained momentum, gained confidence. Most importantly, they gained an identity. And they used that identity to bolster them to Mountain West supremacy. Yes, Boise State once again won the Mountain West last year, which is no surprise as they've sustained themselves as the best program in the Mountain West for years. You could even argue decades now at this point. And what's even more impressive about Boise State's run last year is that they fired their head coach, Andy Avalos, after 10 games. Boise State still rallied to finish the year 8-6. I know you hear that number, it's like, oh, they still lost 6 games. No. From where they came, this was amazing. And they won their conference championship. So just huge milestone and confidence booster for the Broncos. Their new head coach, who took over after Andy Avalos last year, Spencer Danielson. He was one of the most inspiring stories, I'd say, in college football last year, as he took the reins as Boise State's head coach 3/4 of the way through the season and galvanized this team to the point that they truly believed in themselves, truly believed in their identities, and won the Mountain West. Truly incredible feat. He is back as Boise State's head coach this year, so they have great guidance under Spencer Danielson. And now let's talk about Boise State's roster. Remember this: Boise State has a 5-star talent at quarterback, yes. They're able to snag Malachi Nelson from USC, which was an absolute blockbuster, mind-blowing decision that took place last year. We knew he was going to leave USC. We all expected him to go to probably another Power 4 team, kind of make a lateral move. No. He picked Boise State. Why? Because he believes in the program. Boise State is great for development. Boise State also landed former 5-star wide receiver Chris Marshall. He was dismissed from Ole Miss. He's had his troubles in his past, but maybe, just maybe, this is the time for him to get it together, put the pieces of the puzzle together, reset. He's got a change of scenery up there in Boise. A lot of mountains, a lot of beautiful scenery. Maybe this is where he gets his mindset right and channels that inner dog and maximizes his talent as a wide receiver. And could you imagine 5-star quarterback, 5-star wide receiver, clicking seamlessly? I know Malachi Nelson is young, but having a receiver like that is huge for a young quarterback to build his confidence early. Now let's talk about Boise State's defense. They're returning all 11 of their starters. Yes, all 11 of their starters, including Ahmed Hassanin, Andrew Simpson, and Amarian McCoy. This defense is littered with dogs. It's Very seasoned, and for that reason, it'll be very effective this year. So great offense pairing with great defense, and I would say a somewhat favorable schedule is going to yield Boise State success this year. So let's look at Boise State from an external standpoint. The Mountain West, it does not have a lot of parity, and this reflects very much in the FanDuel odds to win the Mountain West. Boise State, of course, is the favorites at minus 125 to win the Mountain West. After that, there is a massive plateau down to UNLV at plus 500, and then Fresno State at plus 550, and then get this, at number 4, Air Force at plus 1,400. That is an insane drop-off from 3 to 4. So there's a huge gap between great and good and not so good and the basement in the Mountain West. And Boise State, when you assess the Mountain West Conference, they are your clear-cut favorites, and they'll be favored in every game without a doubt against their Mountain West opponents this year. And I think that they'll win that conference with relative ease, and I have a lot of confidence in saying that. It's my Boise State out-of-conference games where I have a little more concern about the Broncos. They have to play Oregon, Washington State, and Oregon State. Now, I do think that Boise State is equipped to win 2 of those 3 games. I really do. I think that Boise State, if prepared correctly, can beat Washington State and Oregon State. However, it's a tough feat to win 2 of those 3 games because those are really good non-conference teams. Oregon State is no cupcake. That defense is always ferocious. I simply don't think they're going to beat Oregon. Oregon is cream de la cream right now. They're, I'd say, in your top grouping right now of college football teams. Everywhere you look, Oregon is in your top 5 for national championship odds. It's a very stacked team offensively and defensively. But match with Washington State, I would predict Boise State to win that game, and I'd have to think a little bit about the Oregon State matchup. That one's going to be a game-time decision. Whichever way the wind blows, that's a team that'll pick that week. That's going to be the kind of situation that Boise State, Oregon State is going to be. But when you factor those games into Boise State's schedule and their overall situation going into this year, even if Boise State is 10-2 or 9-3, based on the teams they play, the teams that they theoretically lose to, I would still select Boise State if I were the playoff committee over some of the other G5 teams out there. I mean, look at it. If you have a 10-2 or a 9-3 Boise State playing those opponents and you're stacking them up against an 11-1 Liberty, I'm taking Boise State. Or a 10-2 UTSA, or even an 11-1 UTSA. I'm taking Boise State. So it's a blessing and a curse having those challenging games on the schedule for Boise State. Because, yes, it's going to be tough just from a physical standpoint, having to weather those games, mental standpoint, having to prepare for them. Those are a lot tougher opponents a lot of G5 teams will have to play this year. Potential losses, maybe some blemishes on the record. But the College Football Committee has come out and publicized, they've stated that they do value strength of schedule and how challenging your opponents are. So having opponents like Oregon, Oregon State, Washington State, that's going to benefit Boise State because the CFP will look at that and say, yeah, they're 10-2, they're 9-3, but they played Oregon. They played Oregon State. They challenged themselves. Like it's not like another G5 team that they're playing. So from that standpoint, it works in Boise State's favor. When you assess Boise State completely this year, especially in the first year of the 12-team college football playoff, when a G5, the best G5 team, is guaranteed to get in, it is very favorable for the Broncos. A head coach that everybody's bought into in Spencer Danielson. You have a 5-star quarterback. Yes, he's young, but he's gonna be amazing. He's gonna thrive. Malachi Nelson. You have a complete offense with a great offensive line, a very experienced defense, a favorable schedule from the standpoint of in-conference games, but challenging out-of-conference games that will help to build up Boise State's image when it comes to evaluation of the college football playoff. I love the way Boise State looks this year as far as making a 12-team playoff. And for all of y'all placing your bets right now for teams to get into the college football playoff or for your team to win the Mountain West, you may not win much money on that one, but I'd place your bets right now. Boise State looks like a stock that is trending upwards this year. I can't wait to see what they do, and I foresee them playing in the first ever 12-team college football playoff as its G5. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.